Hello, this is clip 3 about using acrylic inks. Now I just want to confirm to you that the first brush that I used with what I would call like indigo blue was actually the size 10 brush, and the maker of these brushes is Brian Clegg. So with the gold, I'm going to use brush number 8. So again, as I've obviously shook that up a little, I can just literally dip the nib into what is actually inside the lid itself, and then again the same with the number 10 brush. It can be used very easily to do small, sort of very detailed work, but again the brush does not actually hold much of the liquid for a long period of time. But again, it's very light, it's very easy to write with. But if you are wanting to sort of maintain the brush for long periods of time to make sure that obviously the point stays as crisp as possible, then what you want to make sure that you're not doing is actually pushing down too hard when applying any pressure. You just literally want to be sort of skating, so to speak, along the surface of the actual paper or canvas or whatever it is you're using. So again, by dipping the whole of the nib into the liquid, like so, which again probably needs shaking up a little bit more. You can use the side of the brush, the nib, the edge, and again the sort of effects you get with the brush itself are very similar to using brush 8 is to using brush 10, because they have a very fine nib. The other nice thing that I've actually found about using these acrylics is because they dry so fast, it's really easy to actually apply another colour on top of the one that you've just sort of previously laid. So again, I found the colours to be very rich and vibrant, and at the same time the brush very, very easy to use. So if I just give that a quick stir, and then again if we just use the edge of the nib, as well with the gold, what I found it quite shocking actually. I would have thought that once you actually did apply it to the black, or the indigo that it looks like in the thing, that it would be really hard to actually still see the gold on top of the black. But at the same time, when you actually go over the black with the gold, the black can still, the indigo blue or black, can still be seen through the actual gold itself. And again, like I said, I like using the other side of the brush as well, just to sort of see, how it sort of feels, what sort of effect I can get with it. It's also, I always find the end of the brush is really good as well, just to sort of, stir up the pot a little bit more. To, mix it up a little. You can probably hear how when I lightly touch the paper, there's hardly any sound at all, but then the moment I apply a little bit more pressure to the brush, you can actually hear the brush actually touching the paper a little bit more. One of the things I've always loved as a child is doodling. And I think, it's one of those secret vices I think that everybody kind of has, is that everybody loves to doodle. Especially, like when you're on the phone to someone and, they're rattling on and all of a sudden you notice you've got a notepad next to you and it's like, yeah, I'm fine. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, how are you? How's your day been? And there you are, you're chatting away and and then on, with the other hand, you're there and you literally, you've picked up the notepad or the notepad's next to you and you've picked up the pen, if you can actually find one. And there you are, you just sort of like, I don't know, or what can I draw? I'll draw a tree or, I'll draw a bird or, let's draw a house. It's one of them, sort of things. I think it's a bit of a secret vice I think everybody has is, you get into the habit of just sort of doodling about as you're sort of on the phone and talking at the same time. And what I have noticed actually about the number 8 is how much ink it's actually, for some reason, maybe it's the colour, I don't know, that it's actually obtained quite a lot of ink. But I think that's more to do with the fact that I'm just literally lifting it from one sort of side of the paper to the other to sort of, experiment. So, like I was saying, how quickly it dries, what I've found is obviously the thinner the coat, I suppose it's like with any sort of thing you use really, then the quicker it dries. Whereas the thicker the ink is on the paper, the longer it takes. So I think in a way that's good as well, because you're able to literally move the ink from one, lift it gently with the brush from one side of the paper to the other to sort of, doodle or do whatever it is you're doing at the time. So again, that's still very, very wet. And then again, what I would like to do at that point is maybe use the other side of the paintbrush just to sort of, experiment with the ink, see how pliable it is, see how easy it is to just sort of write into or, manipulate and move around the paper. So yeah, I'd say I'm quite happy with that. But then again, if I just put my hand on there, oops, a daisy, you can see how the easier it is to sort of knock over when you're not concentrating properly. But again, you know, I can just sort of move that around with the brush itself. Or like I said, the other side of the brush. Just to see how things sort of can easily be moved. So I think I best put the lid back on that before that happens again. Now, again, what I will now do is I will use brush number 12, where the nib is a lot more bigger, but again it's flatter, so it's a lot more easier to make the brush strokes. So I mean, you know, for like wider areas, I would definitely say this would be a really good brush to use. Just to spread out the ink in a little bit more direction. So what I'll do is I'll let that dry, and then I will use the number 12 brush again, just to give you some more idea what you can actually use it for.